What's good, people? Yo, what up, Lo? We about to get started. Hold up. Let's do something. Oh, for real? Damn. What I gotta do to what's wrong with the Wi? What I gotta do to set it up, Ace?
What's good? I'm good. You
Yo,
can hear me
peace,
all right?
Ace. How you, man?
All right, cool.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me as well? Word.
I'm good, man. I'm
Thank you. How
definitely
you
doing
doing
good.
today? Yes, sir. I'm glad you take. I'm happy that I appreciate you taking the time to
Absolutely.
build with me, man.
It's always an honor to jump on. If we can help a few people, it's a beautiful thing.
Right, right. No doubt. I feel the same way, brother. For real. But let's jump into it, man. I'm very, very curious. Surprised, man, when Edo told me that you were dealing with the same elements, dealing with MS. I was so surprised because as you know, as a youngin, I watched, Masta Ace. Yeah, I mean, I watched the tours, and I'm very, very surprised because I see you moving. You know, um, but how long have you been dealing
I
with
was
it?
diagnosed in 2000, so 20 years now. Yeah, a long time ago.
2000.
I didn't go public with it until
Now,
it's
what type of MS?
remitting, relapsing, um, where you can go periods of time without
All right.
any episode, and then it just kind of shows up unexpectedly one day. And I think the first 2 or 3 years of having it, I was dealing with that. You know, because I hadn't really made the changes that I eventually did make to my diet and to my lifestyle. Um, I was still drinking Hennessy, little, just eating whatever I want to eat, not really making the connection between how I was feeling and what I was doing, putting in my body. And once I made those connections and started to eliminate alcohol and
Right.
processed foods and the white foods, and just started making gradual changes, introducing more water, um, seedless vegetables. I mean, seedless fruits and things of that nature. Once I started making those little changes over time, and then eventually starting to cut out, beef, and then I mean, I have eaten pork for years and years and years, almost, I don't know, 30 something years, but beef, I eventually cut out beef, and then chicken, and then most recently fish. Uh, all those things I think have helped me in my journey to where I am right now.
Mm. Wow. Like what was this first symptom that
The first
that
symptom
alerted you that something was
was
wrong?
I would get these, like, I would be in the shower, taking a hot shower, and I would just like look, it would feel like my whole arm fell asleep. Like in the middle of washing up, like one arm would just go completely like dead. Like I couldn't lift it. It would just be like tingling crazy. And I thought I had a pinched nerve because I was in the gym around that time a lot. And I thought I pinched a nerve. And so I was thinking that it was that. So I kind of ignored it for a while. I didn't go to the doctor for it or nothing like that. I just thought I pinched a nerve. And then probably this was like probably like 99. And then in like 2000, in 2000, or maybe even still in 99, I had another episode where one of my feet went completely numb, like it fell asleep, but it was all day. And it went from my foot to my whole leg. So I was kind of
Hmm.
like limping around all day. And then the next day, it wasn't on that side no more. The next day, it was on the other side, like the other foot, and it went to that leg. And then I was like, man, something is going on, right? And the following year, I had got optic neuritis. I don't know if you heard of that term before. It's a condition that you get in your optic nerve, where your optic
Hmm.
nerve just kind of your vision for about 3 or 4 days straight. My vision in one eye was as if somebody took a picture with a real bright flash on the camera. Sense of, oh,
Hmm.
and then eventually it just kind of goes away in a few seconds. Well, my joint stayed like that for like 3 days straight. Like my eye was in that state
Right.
of somebody just flashed me with a big camera flash, and it just stayed that way for like. And then I went to the doctor and I started getting all these tests, and telling them all of the stuff that had been leading up to this. And I was thinking the worst. I don't know what was going on, but it was nothing I could explain. So they eventually did a bunch of different tests, MRI, and then I guess they looked at the MRI and they said they think they knew what it was, but they didn't tell me until they did a spinal tap, which was the last final test. They did the spinal tap, and then once they looked at the fluid in the spine,
Right.
that's when they came back with the diagnosis, and that was like in 2000. I don't know exactly when in 2000, but it was in 2000.
Right. 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 Wow. Wow. Like it's crazy how this disease like gets at you, like in like out the blue too. Like it
Yeah,
can take you by surprise. Like you're doing your everyday ones and twos, and then all of a sudden you're
yeah,
numb, your vision's gone, you're fatigued. Um, did you ever go to get
yeah.
on
That's it.
medication
Yeah, that same year. That same
at
year,
first?
I was prescribed this medication called Avonex. There's got to be a bunch of different. There's probably 10
Hmm.
different medications now that they make for it. They put me on Avonex first. I think that at the time that was probably one of the more popular ones. it's not as much so popular anymore because they have so many newer, more advanced medications. But the thing with me is, and this was an injection, by the way, that you had to take in your muscle once a week, intramuscular. So I started on those. I started on those injections in 2000, and once I started to make some changes, um, and as new medications started to come along, I just decided against the new medications because I said, well, what I'm using seems to be working, and why would I switch? Why would I switch medications if what I'm using is working? Like they have pills now. You could take a pill once a week or whatever it is, and I just
Yeah.
I don't trust the pharmaceutical companies as it is. I'm taking something that I'm trusting what the doctors prescribe me, but it's worked. It has kind of kept the progression of the disease to a minimum, and so because of that, I don't want to switch. So I've been on Avonex for all 20 years. I haven't switched.
All right. All right. All right. That's And have you seen
I don't
improvement
know if
from
improvement is
you
the right
from
word.
using
I
that?
would just say that it hasn't progressed and gotten much, worse. I have I have a continuous numbness in my hands and fingertips. So I drop stuff a lot. I find sometimes my balance be a little off when I'm just moving around the house. I'll like take that moment where I'm like, whoa, like what the hell was that? I had those moments. Um, but for the most part, you know, my symptoms have been manageable for the most part.
All right. All right. This
Well,
thing
what's
hit
what's
me like
going
a
on with
brick.
you? What kind of symptoms do you
Like
have?
what I think and I was diagnosed in 2018. Um my eyesight went, and that was really scary. Like my eye was stuck in. I got a picture on Facebook. My eye was like my right eye was stuck in my head, and I never had no eye problems with, like, it wasn't
Oh,
tracking. What they said when I got to the hospital, they said my eyes weren't tracking, so they was doing like,
yeah.
follow my finger thing and stuff like that. And then they did the CAT scan. CAT scan came back not normal, so they said they had to keep me to do the MRIs. Um, Also,
Okay.
I'm just gonna say this: that I'm in Florida, and they're not moving too fast down here when it comes to
That's
medical things.
that's
I think, but
you
not it cut out ice.
you breaking up a little bit. I don't know if you're hearing me.
Yeah,
Your
cut out real
Wi-Fi is a
quick.
little bugging out a little, I think.
I can hear you now. Uh, yeah, yo, it's the apartment complex. I mean, hey, my bad. Um, but yes, my when my MRI came back, they read them, and I had lesions on my brain and on my spine. They said it was relapse remitting at first, but now this year they diagnosed me and told me
Wow.
that I have progressive MS because I had medication breakthrough. I had new lesions on my spine. Um, that's why I was really sparked my interest when
Yeah.
I seen those plates you was dishing up.
It's good food, man.
Those look serious,
It's good food.
like for real. Like, yeah, yeah. Did you ever get into therapy? Like having to go to like physical
Not
therapy?
not 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 yet. I haven't felt like I've needed to do that yet. Um but have you made any changes in terms of your diet or anything of that nature yet?
Yes, yes, I have. Um, I've been out of work for 2 years, so things have been kind of rocky and stuff like that. It's just my wife holding things down right now with the
That's rough.
3 kids. But I
Right.
never ate. We never ate pork. Yeah, but we never ate pork. We're not doing the beef thing. Um, just like certain other things we do eat, and when as far as just eating, I definitely get one of those air fryers. That looks like it
Yeah,
could hook some things up. Um,
I'm brand new with.
but
I can't really wave the flag too crazy yet. I'm still testing stuff out, trying to see what works, what doesn't work. But um, the one we got has it does air frying, it does
right,
toasting, it does like three things, three functions.
that's nice, yo. How was there ever a time when you had a tour and like your symptoms was just like
In
getting to you?
2002, I had a show in Paris. It was my first time performing in Paris, and so I was kind of worked up. I was a little um, I don't know if nervous is the right word, because I had done shows before, but it was something about the fact that I was in a city like Paris and it was my first time and I wanted to really kill it. And I think I just got myself my energy, my adrenaline just got way up there right before I got on stage. And when I got the moment I got out there, the first maybe eight bars of rhyming, my whole right side just went dead.
Hmm.
My whole right side just went dead while in the middle of rhyming. So I felt it happen, and I couldn't even hold the mic. Like the mic was slipping out of my hand. I had to switch hands with it, and I limped off the stage like right at the intro of the show, and the crowd was just like stunned, like what's happening? Like this, is like the beginning of the show. Like this is like the jump off. Everybody's hype. You come out, you start rhyming, and then you just stumble off stage, and music stops. My DJ, my DJ didn't know anything about my
Right.
condition. Everybody running over to me. Are you right? I think they thought maybe I was having a heart problem or something. They didn't know what was going on. And in that moment, it just took me a minute to calm down, catch my
Right.
breath. The feeling started to come back, and they were like, "What happened? What's wrong with you?" And I said I caught a cramp. Like I lied. I said I caught a cramp. I just didn't want that wasn't. I wasn't. It's I'm 2 years into getting this diagnosis. I didn't want anybody to know, aside from close family and friends. So I said, "Yo, I caught a cramp. I'm good now.
Right.
Let's go." And I ran back on stage and did the show, and it was cool, and no more issues. That's the closest thing to something happening on tour with me, um, you know, that I can think of.
Right. Right. When okay, let's get back on because yeah, I want to get on the food. Oh, before I even skip on that, do you did you ever fall
I
into
have
depression
not,
at any
and
time?
I have
Dealt
not,
with that at any
but I,
time?
I, I will tell you, if I didn't have a wife, a family, and I was on my own and just doing the rapper thing with no family, I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
But because I have a dope wife who's super positive, upbeat, full of energy, always off the rails with it, she just nonstop fun and craziness. She keep you on your toes at all times. It keeps my attention on positive, laughing, joking, playing, wrestling, fooling around, like all of that stuff. Having love around you, I think, plays a big part. Because when I'll tell you this,
Right.
because my grandma's passed in 98, and she partially, she raised me. My mother raised me, but my grandmother was also there. Those were the two key women that raised me. So I lost my grandmother in 98, my mom's in '05. And right after two losses, I found myself, you know, um, I would just struggle to talk about basic emotional things without getting teary eyed and wanting to cry. I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why am I crying over nothing? Like, this ain't even like, I'll watch a TV show that ain't even really about nothing all that emotional, and I got tears in my eyes. I'm like, what is happening? And but it was a combination of the loss of those two women and what this disease kind of does to you, to your nervous system. You, you know, you find yourself being more emotional,
Right.
crying about things that really wasn't that big of a deal. A couple years ago, for a drug, they make a drug. That's the pharmaceutical companies. They make a drug that specifically treats that. Like they actually list all of these different diseases that can cause your emotions to be uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
And MS was one of the diseases. So I was like, oh, that's what that is. But I'm never taking that
Mm-hmm.
drug. Like they just make up a drug for everything, man. They make up a drug for everything.
Right, right. Yeah, they do. No doubt, no doubt. Like I'm not a fan of the
Okay.
they got me on that gabapentin.
How often?
And
How
Copaxone. That's
often?
an injection too. Um three
Wow.
times a day for the gabapentin. I think it's like 400 milligrams or 600. No, it's 400 milligrams 3 times a day, and the Copaxone, which is an injection every day. Um,
And that's because they've
um,
diagnosed you with progressive. Is that the
and it's
reason?
no, they gave me that off the bat. Like I've been on that
Three
since
times a day?
2018. They haven't my no, not, yeah, gabapentin, yes,
And that was from the
yep,
beginning.
3 times a
From
day, yep, 2 pills every
mm. Oh, it's a
yep,
pill. I'm sorry. I think
yes,
it's a pill.
it's been
Okay.
from the very beginning. Yep, the Copaxone came later. I tried
Yeah.
the Tecfidera, but I wasn't too my body wasn't cooperating. I
Right.
was throwing up
How
too
side
much,
effects for you
getting sick every time I took it.
on
So
on those two drugs?
um, I think that right now, I think that it's getting me fat. I ain't gonna lie. Like I think I'm getting chunky on it, especially the Copaxone, and I'm getting injection and I forgot what it's called, but you know this shows from the injection spots because I'm doing it like I gotta
Right.
rotate my injection spots all over my body. So some of these spots are just getting
Right.
to the point where it's just like it's too much, and they haven't approved me for the 3 times a week. It's an
Yeah.
insurance
That
thing,
plays a part too.
and they won't give me that. But yes, but my neurologist is like I got to be on something because you got to you got to stop it,
Right.
stop it from progressing so much.
What is your you said you don't eat pork or beef, but what you know, have you cut out eating any things based on this diagnosis since 18?
Um, Not fully. I would say right. I would say this year it's been like fully cut out with the sugar, anything white. You know, like no white sugar. We got the natural raw sugar. Um, I stopped the coffee last year. I was a big coffee fan, but I was hearing that it's not good, the caffeine and stuff. So I stopped that. Eating a lot more greens. You know, like even if we eat chicken, it's trying to like have like just a little bit of meat, but more greens on the plate, more vegetables and stuff like that. And my youngest daughter, she won't eat. She's finished with me. Even before this, she's like, I don't want to eat meat, Dad. Every time I'm
Yeah.
chopping those
Well,
chicken, she says it's disgusting.
when you don't have it for a while, you start to feel like it is. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and it's not good. It's not good at all. And yeah, but this has been a roller coaster ride for myself.
Do you
I
have
mean,
to
I got a
use it yet?
wheelchair, a walker. At times going on long distances, I gotta use. I can get
Yeah.
away with using my little walker thing. But going like the
Let
Disney
me tell
World, I gotta be in a wheelchair
let, let me
because
tell
my
let
leg,
me tell you.
my
I
leg.
read a book.
But
Somebody put me onto this book. It's called the Walls Protocol. Um, W WAHL. The Walls Protocol. It's written by a doctor, um, who was life, and the MS progressed very, very rapidly, and she was in a wheelchair within, like, I think a year or 2 years of her diagnosis, and she was trying to figure out. She was taking the different medications, nothing was
mm,
working, and she was trying to figure out what else she could do, and she decided diet change, and she cut out a bunch of different things from her diet, and she only ate specific things. And within 2 years of her changing her diet, she went from a wheelchair to being able to run 3 miles a day with that one change, just changing
but
her diet. I would definitely recommend getting that book and reading what she did. She didn't stop eating meat though. That's an interesting thing. She was actually eating a lot of organ. I mean, like she would like liver, um, things like that, like a lot of organ meat, which I've never
mm-hmm,
really been a big fan of. But it was just interesting to see her approach and what worked for her. Obviously, everybody is different, um, but just the mere
yeah,
fact that a diet change could uh, get her from a wheelchair to being able to run 3 miles, to me says something about our food and what the power of food can do for us.
right, right. Yeah, definitely. I need to. I want to go a lot harder than I've been going with that diet switch. It's just that getting everybody to cooperate in the
Listen,
house.
let me
My
my
son, like
my
he
my
good.
wife and daughter, they don't eat like me, and they cook that food in front of me. Yeah, we sit at the dinner table. They
Oh,
eat
for
fried
real?
chicken, which was one of my favorites. They eat fried chicken, and I'm eating my meal. Um,
Mm,
it got to come from within you. Um, you got to be willing to just be like, I'm not eating that no more. We're addicted to food as a people. It's part of our culture. Is that food, the celebration of meal and eating. It becomes, it's a social gathering for us, sitting down at a meal with a bunch of friends and eating a bunch of wild food and talking about how good it is and all of that. But
right,
um, being able to sit in that comes from here. It comes from you. And I actually, the other day, was the day before yesterday, my wife, she bought lamb chops. She bought a rack of lamb, and she wanted me to put it on the grill, which I have no
mm,
problem doing. I went out and I lamb chops probably was my favorite meat. Probably was my favorite thing to eat, lamb chops. And I went out there and I
mm,
cooked, perfectly cooked, a rack of lamb, tender as hell, served it up. I watched them devour the lamb chops, and I ate my vegan meal and didn't even blink. And you got to get yourself to that point. You have to get yourself to that point where it doesn't have to be, you don't feel that temptation around just because it's in front of you that I got to taste that. I know that feeling, brother. I know that feeling because my wife used to make mac and cheese. Well, she still
right,
does, but I'm just saying when I was eating that way, she make mac and cheese, and I was trying to get off of white pasta and dairy, and she would make it, and I smell it. Just the smell would be like, oh, I'm just gonna have like two big scoops, and that's it. I ain't gonna go back for seconds. And
yeah,
but it took me a minute to get to
right,
that
right,
point where it could be in front of me, I could smell it, and it doesn't evoke any feelings of I need some. And you got to get to that point, and you got to get there fast.
Right, no doubt, no doubt. Because yeah, I heard that it thrives off
Man, listen, yeah,
certain
go ahead, brother.
foods. Oh, now I was gonna build off that part right there. Can what foods are just
I
like
mean,
a no
for
no, just to
me,
stay away from?
the way I
Period.
eat now, my lifestyle, I don't eat any animal products. And I don't eat dairy. I don't eat eggs. I eat mostly fruits, vegetables, beans, grains, um, and I try to get creative with it. Just different ways of flipping and changing and cooking that stuff and finding new recipes. I make up stuff. Other day I made up this avocado spread slash dip. It sounded like a good idea because what it was I made this avocado vinaigrette that I made up. I just like I'm gonna just try to throw some avocado in here because we had an
Mhm.
avocado that was getting to that point where you don't really want to put this in the blender and throw some vinegar, some seasonings in it,
Mhm.
and see if I make a vinaigrette. And it came out dope. So the next time I said, you know what? I got this vegan sour cream. Let me throw that in and make it a creamy joint. I made that, but I made that like 3 times so far. Like I'm like hooked on that now because it just stays in the refrigerator. It stays in the refrigerator. I can put it on sandwiches.
That's
I
what's
could
up.
dip something in it, eat it. Oh, banging, man! Like it's really about trying. It's about getting creative. And the dope thing is, my wife, she helps me in terms of she's out there looking for recipes for me. She's like, yo, I just saw this. I'm gonna make this for you. This you might like this. I'm gonna make this. It's
Yeah,
vegan. She don't eat it. She makes it for me, and it's for me, and I crush it. And you got to just find it, man. You got to find it. But yeah, I cut out those things. Those are the things. Animal product. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not just animal products. Um, the first thing I cut out when I first started making my diet change was all the white foods. You already mentioned it, but white sugar, white pasta, white rice,
yes.
all of those white food, white flour. We
Mhm.
only have wheat flour in the house now. I mean, all that stuff. And high fructose corn syrup was at the same time. I cut out high fructose corn syrup. I started reading labels on everything I bought in the store. I didn't even know like Heinz ketchup, mad high fructose, because people got wise to it. That's like a man-made sugar
Mm.
that's not good for us at all. Like it changes the physiology of
Right.
our cell makeup. It changes us. So our bodies don't know what to do with that man-made sugar. Our bodies are used to natural sugar. They know how to, our
Yeah.
cells know how to link with sugar and do whatever they're supposed to do. But when it's that other weird sugar, they don't know how to link with that. It links up, it doesn't link right, and then that's when you start having these autoimmune, diseases that start popping up. I have no idea to this day what the um the source of this disease was for me, but in my mind, I believe that it was my diet and what I was eating.
Now, you have any
Not
family
that, not that
members
I
that
know
have
of. No,
MS as well?
not that I know of.
Yeah, my
Okay, is
aunt
that
has MS
your
as
mom's
well.
sister or your dad's?
I mean, I don't know,
Okay,
my mom's sister, um, but she's the only one I know of that has MS. I know they said something, and then also the doctors told me something about being from up north, being in that I don't know that
up north. Wait,
atmosphere or
where you
something
from?
like that. They didn't really explain it.
Okay, okay.
I'm from Boston.
I don't know how that would have an effect.
You know what I mean? They said something. I don't know either. They didn't explain it to me like at all. They just said something about that people from up north
Don't be afraid to
and
ask
that and
questions, man. I'll
European
be
women.
asking mad questions. Like anything that don't halfway sound like it makes sense to me, I just ask. What do you mean by
Right.
that? Or the doctor be on some long. You was talking. You said You said this word. What does that word mean? What did you mean when you said that? And then just
Mm,
don't be afraid to ask questions, because us sometimes as patients, we just try and we just trust in the doctor. We're gonna just hear what we need to do, listen to what he got to say or she got to say, and proceed. But a lot of times, man, they 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 are trained by the people that want us to be on drugs. To a certain extent, the schooling that they get, their schooling that they get talks nothing about diet, about you know, organic eating and living. Most of them are trained to
right.
diagnose and then prescribe this medication for it. And so, sometimes I'll mention to them that, oh, well, I take this vitamin, I take this or whatever. Puzzled, like, oh, okay, hopefully it's FDA approved or whatever. Man, please. It's a lot of remedies out there. There's a lot of remedies, a lot of things out there that you will never hear doctors mention. Irish sea moss, things of that nature that can absolutely help us that they don't even talk about.
Yeah. All right, I'm glad you brought that up. I did not put that in my notes because I watched you just recently posted a video from
Yeah.
IG, and he talked about Irish sea moss. So you got it
Yeah,
on the
it's
website,
supposed
you
to be on.
said,
I
I
don't know if it's
believe.
up yet. I've been waiting for my web guy to put it up, because I sell it. I make it to order. If somebody orders it, I make it on the
Right.
spot, and I ship it out to them. I sell it in 16-ounce jars. The gel I make the gel. I think on my IG, I was making the drink one day.
Mm,
People were asking me about the drink. The drink is a separate thing. I don't sell that yet. I don't know if I would trust putting like that kind of liquid in a jar and shipping it. I'd be afraid it's going to leak or something like that. So, but I do sell the gel, and the gel, you just take a spoon,
right, right.
scoop it out. You can put it in your smoothie. If you're a real thug, you can just take it off the spoon, and just eat it straight.
See, now
Oh my
what's the
God.
benefits from
Uh, there are,
this the sea
let me,
moss?
let me, let me Google it for you, because I can't rattle it all off, but it's a
So,
lot of benefits. Let me just real quick read you a quick thing. It's so many things though. So okay, this is just like a quick rundown of it. Rich in potassium chloride, it works wonders for congestion and mucus. That's the big one, mucus, because mucus leads to all disease. It holds antibacterial and antiviral properties. Um, it's good for dry skin, skin conditions, eczema, psoriasis, things like that. Um, but that's a super brief description. But um, it has the most nutrients that our body needs. Like our body needs a certain amount there's a list of nutrients that our bodies need to flourish, and Irish sea moss holds most of them, has most of them in it.
mhm.
And so, like I said, I'll be selling that. So folks that's on the chat, that want to get it, it'll be on my website soon enough. I'm just waiting for my web guy to post it. I just want people to enjoy it, try it. It's great. It's good stuff, man. It's definitely worth taking. You should definitely invest in some.
Yes, I've been
Yeah,
hearing a lot about it this year too. Like for real, like, a lot about it. Um, so what
I'll
do you
give you a
have
few
for
different
breakfast,
breakfasts.
like on a normal day?
Today my wife made these sweet potato fritters. They're vegan. Um, it's just sweet potato,
Hmm.
coconut. She fries them up in some light oil, lightly fries them. I had that and some vegan sausage patties that were very tasty. But I have like avocado toast. I eat a lot of avocado for breakfast. I make oatmeal all the time. Like that's a pretty common breakfast for me, especially when I'm on tour, because I bring my oatmeal with me. I put a little agave in it,
Mhm.
some raisins or some bananas in it. I, that's like a regular for me on the road. Um, so oatmeal is one of my breakfasts. Um, let's see. Sometimes I'll make whole wheat pancakes. I haven't done that in a while because it's kind of involved. But I'll do those and just use pure maple syrup on top. No pancake syrup. No Aunt Jemima. None of that
That's what's up.
madness. Um, yeah, it's a few different things.
Right, right,
I'm drawing a blank right now. It's like a few different things that I have for breakfast. So that's just a few though. Fresh fruit, of course. Fresh fruit.
right. What's the right. I was about to say that the fresh fruit. Um, what fruit do you think plays like the most part to make sure that you have in your
Um,
diet?
that's a good question. I eat a bunch of different fruits. I eat banana. I eat oranges. I eat grapefruit. Um, I don't mess with grapes anymore. Grapes was like my favorite go-to snack. Red seedless grapes. I used to destroy. In the back of my mind, I think that those red seedless grapes had something to do with me getting this disease, even though I have no proof of that. Just because they were seedless, and I know that's a genetically mutated fruit
Um,
that I was eating like I was eating like
right.
giant servings of that like a year. Like I don't know how much a lot of money into seedless. I mean that was my every turn the game on, big ass bowl of seedless grapes and just polish them off. And I was eating those things like crazy. So um yeah, so no more grapes. Pineapple when it's in season. Cantaloupe, melon. Those are. I had for the first time. Um, I had jackfruit. Have you tried this? And my my
Yes,
first time trying it,
I've had
and it wasn't bad.
jackfruit.
It wasn't bad.
Huh?
No, was it
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it too much. I didn't enjoy
okay?
it. It was kind of weird. It might have been the way
Okay,
the
so
person prepared.
did you have it as a dish?
Might
Like
have been
somebody
that.
cooked it up as like part of like as a meat substitute like that? Like some people do it like that. Oh, see, I didn't
Yeah, yes. And
I didn't have it
rice.
like
I
that.
had in
I had a piece of jackfruit that was fresh it was in a thing with saran. You just took the
hmm
saran wrap off and just it looked like a piece of it looked like a piece of mango. Try it like that. Try it like that. Just like,
Yeah,
it was
yep.
slightly sweet. I It wasn't bad
hmm
eating it like that, just raw. I had it raw.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because this person tried to try to hook us some like I
Yeah,
don't know
see, it
barbecue
depends
thing or
on the it
whatever
depends
with
on
it, and right now I understand that like yeah like probably raw definitely probably
try
be
it one
10
give it
times
one give
better.
it one more shot.
Definitely. Um, no, I will definitely I will. Hold up, I got some notes up there. We can go. Now
Yeah,
you still on that the injection thing
to this day.
to this day?
I inject every Sunday. I take the
All right,
medication on. Yeah, I take it with me on the
Now this is
on the road when I go.
right. How, yeah, I read. I know you ain't supposed to trust everything on the internet, right? But I read your wiki. and
Be careful reading those,
it
because
talked about
be careful reading those Wikipedias, because there'd be a lot
huh?
of false madness on there.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, there was one question I wanted to ask about, but it's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy. But about you maybe being on tour in
Yeah,
I think Czech Republic
yeah, that
and
happened.
getting pulled over,
Yeah,
and they
and
found
that was
your meds and stuff.
that really happened, and
That
that
really
was in
happened?
2013. That happened. That happened. That happened in 2013, and that was the same year that I
Oh, for
decided to
real?
just go public and tell the world that I had a mess. Because I felt like it was
Okay.
I felt like it was a message from either God or my mother and grandmother. It was like enough walking around holding this inside, like let it go, like it's okay, like. And so when we got pulled over, I was with my Marco Polo was with me, my man Strickland, who always tours with me, our tour manager, and I think it was one other person with us. Steve, the Angry Merch guy, might have been with us. I'm not sure. One other person was with us though. And so we get pulled over, and they find the medication. They asked me about it. They went and took it inside, and they were like, I guess, reading the name on the box, trying to figure out what it was. And when we finally got back in the
Mm,
car, everybody was completely silent because of the experience that we had just gone through. Because we were pulled over for about 90 minutes. Out, they went through every bag, every zipper. They was pulling pants out of the bag and going in the pants pockets. Like they went super thorough. They didn't find nothing in the bags. Then they went and started pulling up the carpet of the van, looking under the carpet of the van, like all that. Um, they were just so convinced that they were going to
yeah.
find weed or drugs or something illegal. And while they were doing all of this, they're standing there holding
Mm,
machine guns. So you can only imagine the level of tension that was relieved when we finally got in the van. Everybody just sat there for about 30 minutes. Nobody said a word. And then Marco, I guess, was the brave one that was just like, yo, what was that they found in your bag? And then I just told him what it was. Yo, it's my
mm,
medication. This is what I have. And it was just like, wow. And it was a crazy moment for me because I had never said it out loud. Like I never said it other than telling my wife, my mother. Like I had never
right,
said it out
right.
loud. And so when I got back to the States after a couple of weeks, I reached out to a friend who's a journalist, uh, my guy Soren Baker, and I just said, "Yo, I'm ready to tell my story. This is what it is." And I gave him. We did an interview. I gave him the full story of what it was, how it came about, and he told me when the article was going to be released. And before the article, I just made calls to all my friends that didn't. I mean, these are close friends, high school, grew up with, guys I coached with. Nobody knew. And so I just called. I probably made 50 phone calls.
Right.
Just call people one by one and say, "Yo, this is what's happening. I have this disease. I'm good. Don't worry about me. I've had it for 13 years. I'm good." And I finally decided to tell people. So I'm letting you know before the interview, the article comes out, so you won't be like, "Damn, like I had to find out that way." So that's what I did.
That's dope,
Yeah,
yo. That's
I
crazy
felt
that
like
it
it was meant
happened
to
like that.
happen. I'm
I
big
mean,
on
like,
like things happening for certain reasons, and I always try to
right.
go like, okay, this is why is this happening? This is trying to tell me something.
Mm,
So what? And I read into it. Maybe I read too much into it, but that's what I do. When stuff happens, I go, okay. Like if I run into somebody that I haven't seen for 15 years, I run into them randomly. I always question: did I run into this person for a reason? Like, is there something we supposed to connect on? And if I miss it, I'm maybe I shouldn't
yeah.
miss this opportunity. Maybe I should figure out what this is. So I've done that a few times.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. I'm the same way. Facts, yo. Wait. that is crazy. So what did the police even act like did they
They
figure it out like, oh, this is
they
like
probably,
his medication,
I mean, no, they, like I said,
or did they try to
they took everything
keep on
inside.
pushing?
They went into the office and they came back and they put it and they gave it back to me. I'm sure they went on the telephone. They read them off the names of the medications or whatever the medication, and
Mm-hmm.
they got feedback, and then they was like, okay, that's cool, and they gave it. So it wasn't no issues. Um, I think the most stressful moment in
Right,
that
right.
police stop was that they found my show money. Now there's different rules and regulations in different
Mm,
countries about how much cash you can have on you and all that type of stuff. And I'm standing there while this guy is counting out in the open all of this cash, just counting all this cash. And I'm just staring. I'm just staring at at the money as he's counting it. And in the back of my mind, I'm just so fearful
mm,
because if he decides to say, I'm keeping this and I'm letting y'all go, what am I doing? These dudes, it's 15
mm.
of them. They got machine guns and German shepherds, and they're in the position of power. So if he really wanted to be on some, you dead on this, I would have been dead on that. So thank God that didn't happen.
Right. For real, for real. Thank God for that, yo. For real. Facts. Good shit. Like,
Nah,
mm.
my family they
Did you have
started
dinner
without me.
already today?
We I'm gonna be eating alone tonight, but it's cool though. I'm glad we had this
For
conversation.
real.
Shout out to my man Power Malo. I see him popping up. That was 2013 Power when that happened.
Yeah, man. Yo, that's peace, man. Peace, peace. So, what do you think is the biggest um getting results with multiple sclerosis? What do you think is the biggest gain? I mean, biggest thing you can do to gain in this situation? Like, is it diet,
It's
working out,
definitely
or
both.
is it like maybe both of them
It's definitely
things?
both, but obviously the working out part has to be within what you're capable and able to do. But the diet part, you can start tomorrow. You can just, you know, I just feel like someone in your position where they've basically upgraded your condition to or downgraded your condition to progressive as opposed to relapsing and remitting. To me, you've got to get really aggressive and you've got to really make some decisions if you don't want, if you want to try to eliminate the potential of that walker and that wheelchair being part of your permanent future. Not saying that um, anything that you're going to do is going to help, but to me, it's worth it to find out. It's worth it to find out and to say, okay, I'm going to stop eating these things for the
Right.
next year or the next 2 years or the next 6 months or whatever the time period you give yourself and see how I feel. And and if you feel like you're improving, then that's a good thing, and that's giving you that message. I personally believe, I just have something in me believes that if you make those changes in your diet and just become really, really committed to it, that you're gonna see improvement. You're gonna see your mobility improve. You're gonna see a lot of things improve, and that's gonna make you want to do more and be more active and work out more and do everything more.
Yes, no, definitely, definitely. Like, and that's what I gotta. Yeah, how has have you ever felt
I
that it messed with your ears
not.
at
I
all?
mean, sometimes
Like
like
your hearing?
something weird happens in my ear, like one side kind of feel like it goes out for a couple seconds or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what is that? But it never lingers. So I never attributed it to MS. But anything that weird happens, I'm like, oh, maybe it's something with that. I never really know though.
Right, right. Because that definitely happened to me is it felt like the
Yeah,
swimmer air that you get like from playing
yeah.
in swimming or something like that. That's what it felt like it happened, and then it went. Then yeah, exactly went away. But then My doctor said, "Oh no, that
Well,
MS doesn't do that." But no, but I don't believe that. Like I agree, totally agree with you with
they don't
what
know.
the
They don't have
doctor
all the
saying.
answers.
They
They don't
don't
have all
know.
the answers. They don't.
It's like they're just guessing. Right.
And somebody else up here just says it happens sometimes. So
Because
I
I
don't know if I don't
definitely
know if he has Shame Queedle. Do you have MS as well? He
yeah,
said it does a little. See, so some people get that.
yeah. So somebody, yeah, and doctors need to take note and listen to the patients more.
The MS
Have
what?
you ever had the MS hug?
Hug? What is that?
MS hug? Well, the way they describe, I mean, the MS community describes it as a feeling that you're being squeezed. They they said it's around your waist, you'll feel it. That's why they describe it as a hug. But I get the feeling of that
Oh yeah,
my
yeah,
arm is in a
yeah.
cast.
I've definitely felt
Like it
that
feels like
in
it's
my
wrapped up.
arm. I feel it if I'm
Get that
sitting
sometimes?
still. I'm just sitting still. I feel that way at times.
Hmm.
Um, and you know my hand position. Like I always thought it was like this was like when I first got diagnosed. I would notice that if I held my hand like in this position and I just laid my hand down flat and I just didn't look at my hand for like a minute, the next
Hmm.
time I look back at my hand, it would be like in this position. And it would still feel like it's like this though. Without me looking at it, I'm thinking in my mind my hand is like this. But I'm not
Right.
looking at it. And I look at it, it's like this.
No
So
doubt.
that's our neurological system, playing games.
Right. And that's that yeah, and that's a weird sensations. What about what is it called? A
I'm not
Lermite
familiar with that
sign?
term.
When you get the shocks. Um I swear it's a weird feeling you get. Like I get these shocks. It feels like I'm being electrocuted,
Mm.
like in a small voltage.
Oh, I
When I
get
bend
that.
my
Yeah, hell
neck
yeah.
this way,
Down, yeah,
or
definitely
even if I
down.
bend it down,
Definitely down.
you get
I get that.
that? Yeah, yeah. That's crazy. Like then they got no they offer me
Yeah,
to give me some other
your
drug
goal
to
should
take
be
over
to
that away.
try to get away from as
And
much of it. I mean, if you're taking one medication, okay, they doubling you up with two medications. If you can really commit to the diet change and trying to minimal exercises a day,
mm,
what little you can do with your arms, legs, and see where that leads you. I really feel like it will be to your benefit.
yeah,
Potentially,
and get away
yes.
from these meds. Yes. Um. Right. Now, hold on. Let me go back to my notes real quick. I'm sorry. Should be more organized. Oh, now, but what are you doing? What are you doing to stay safe during this
No, I
crazy
moved
times?
to New
Are you still in
Jersey,
the
so I'm
city?
out in the outskirts of the city.
Like
I
in New
mean,
York?
I'm a short drive from the city or a train ride from the city,
Oh,
but thankfully I'm away